Okay, we are going to talk in this video about which auxiliary verbs you want to use with different forms of a verb. So in a previous video, I talked about the 5 forms of a verb: the base form, the S form, the past participle, and the present participle. So what auxiliary verbs do you need to use to match together with these forms? First of all, you need to use the auxiliary do plus a base form. This is used for negatives and for questions. So if I want to write a negative sentence, I will use the do auxiliary and the base form of the verb. She doesn't cook. Another time you want to use the base form is with a modal verb. Okay. If you say she can't cook, this is a modal verb followed always by a base form. All right, so these are the situations when you need to remember to use the base with certain auxiliary verbs. The S form and the past form do not use auxiliary verbs. You do not use an auxiliary verb with the form takes. You do not use an auxiliary verb with the form took. If you want to use these tenses in the simple present or the simple past for negatives or questions, you use the do verb. You do not use these forms. Do verb plus the base. Past participle for perfect tenses. You are going to use the auxiliary verb have. Okay? She has cooked lunch. This is not a main verb has. This is an auxiliary verb before the past participle cooked, to show a perfect tense. A perfect tense, giving an idea of something happening before a point in time. We also use the past participle with the be auxiliary verb to form the passive. Okay, if we're going to go back to our verb take, past participle taken, you could say this test is taken by everyone. So we are using the be verb is and the past participle. This shows that the subject is receiving the action, not doing it. The adjectives do not use auxiliary verbs because they are not verbs. However, adjectives are commonly used with the verb be or other linking verbs. Linking verbs like look or seem or appear. So if you want to say, she looks interested. This is a linking verb used with the passive adjective, the ed form. That means that she is receiving the feeling. She is feeling the interest. So she looks interested means she looks like this. All right. Again, though, we would not call this an auxiliary verb. So for the past participle, two possible auxiliary verbs. For the present participle, again, you can use the be verb, but this time with the present participle. When you do that, it means that an action is unfinished. Here's the be auxiliary, here's the present participle. She is cooking. A gerund does not use an auxiliary verb because it is not a verb. It is a noun form. It's used as a subject or an object in a sentence. So there's no auxiliary verb for that. And this adjective, same thing as here. You use it with the verb be or other linking verbs. If I do the same here, but now I say she looks interesting, that has a very different meaning. That means I would like to know more about her. I would like to listen to her. She could interest me. So, again, not an auxiliary verb. So our auxiliary verb here is the be verb. So to sum up, you can use the be verb, am, are, is, was, were, will be, infinitive to be, gerund being, with a past participle to create a passive idea, or with a present participle to create a progressive idea. You can use have as an auxiliary verb with a past participle to create the idea that something happened before a point in time. You can use do plus a base form to create negatives or questions in the simple present or the simple past. And you can use a modal plus a base form to add extra meaning to your verb. These are the combinations you want to remember. If you can just remember these combinations, you will prevent yourself from making lots of common mistakes.